So how have we awakened this evening? How has everything seemed? I'm thinking on my own. You know what I just did for 45 minutes? Oh my God. It was like 3 hours long. It was insane. Insane. You know what I did? Hey, the whole fucking, I don't like to swear. If you're young out there, I'm really sorry. But my whole screen is crooked. I can't figure it out. I picked up these glasses I had. I sort of slept on them a couple of times. Oh, let me introduce myself. Do I seem out of sync? Maybe we can get back into the sink. Talking about sinks, I just unplugged my toilet with what they call in French a fish. I shoved it in there so much, you know what? I still don't think it sinks enough. Yeah, I'm smoking. Raphael 7286. And to start this one off, I'm just going to get back to what I did on my last video. They seem to be cutting me, and I'm already having problems knowing exactly what direction I'm going in. But I do know, Ron Paul, if you want any kind of security of any sort, do not worry, this man does not miss a thing. If he doesn't tell you, ask him. If you don't find that answer somewhere else, why don't you just look where Ron Paul is? He knows, seems to know not a little bit about everything, but a lot about everything. And if he knows a little bit, that's all he needs to know sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If I went into your backyard because my ball went over the fence, don't you remember that? When the ball goes over the fence, oh, you go get it. No, you go get it. No, you go get it. And nobody wants to go get the ball. They don't want to go on somebody else's property. And if you ring the bell 10 times, you're bothering them. So you're going to jump over the fence anyways. And you feel already that it's wrong. I want to know one thing. Who has invaded the U.S., okay? Since 1946, who has invaded the U.S.? Nobody. Why would a terrorist come to the U.S.? Terrorists, okay, only retaliate based on what has been done to them. They don't do things for nothing. They don't waste their time. They don't have time to waste. They're not the government terrorists. They go out and they do the thing they have to do, okay? You know who taught me this? The American government taught me this. I watched all these videos. I figured out exactly how it works. It's not that hard, you know. There are no terrorists. There are no terrorists. There is no war in this world. We're all fine. Except for those nitpicking. I get stopped by the police the other day, and he says to me, he says, is this your license? And I'm thinking, what do I tell the guy? It's got my picture on it. What do I tell him? I'm not sure, I said to him. He says, what do you mean? You just gave it to me. He says, well, if you're asking me that question, maybe I gave you a license or something in my purse that I didn't even know. I said, maybe I made an error. Can I check your trunk, please? You want to check my trunk? Do you want to check my car too? Do you want to check my glove compartment? Am I allowed to say that to the guy? What do you want to check? You want to check my dick? I'm not wearing any underwear, okay? Okay? These guys and these people who are trying, I want to ask you a question. Do they have, when you go to be a policeman, do they test your attitude, what kind of attitude you got towards life? Okay? Nobody, you see, the way I take it is like this. We're going to start off simple, okay? The police are there to stop if something starts, not to start something that hasn't begun, because that's what they do. They come in, they want to see what's going on. They're always checking. So what if somebody, what can somebody do? Smoke a joint in the park? What the hell can a guy do in the park? Smoke a joint? Jiminy crickets. Just talking about joints, you know. Like, remind me about the park, okay? Remind me about the police. Some of them are just not nice. They asked to smell my bottle in the park. Can I smell your bottle, please? My bottle? I go, what bottle? I got my orange juice. I want to smell it. I go, I can't let you smell it. He goes, why not? I go, I haven't opened it yet. He says, oh, okay. He says, what about the other one? The water bottle? Don't you see there's water in it? Holy Christ. And the fault is because of us. Okay? Somehow we have to refigure out the Canadian amendments And I like the First and Second Amendment of the U.S. If Ron Paul wins, I want to take Canada, take away the borders, and just join with the U.S. But if Ron Paul loses, I want to double the borders and go as far and as deep north as possible and dig a hole in the ground. Oh, my God. Well, that's just my outlook, you know. I just drove 30 miles, and I've never been so stoned in a long time. It was so funny. It was so funny. Instead of getting off at the exit I normally get off, I got off one exit before because it's a dark area and usually nobody hangs around there. And they're not looking for any drunk, stoned drivers. Okay, so I get off at that exit and I start driving. I go, I got a small 50 zone. There used to be a lot of cops there when the strip club was across the street. But anyways, I made a right-hand turn. Not a normal right-hand turn, because usually I'm getting off at the next exit 8 kilometers away, but I got off 8 kilometers early, and I ran the back streets. When I got to one street, and I was trying to say, oh my God, where's my bag? Is it in my car? And I had to look through my purse with my light on and take the chance that I miss a stop sign of some sort. Driving with these glasses that everything are crooked. But if you don't smoke a little of this, you can't lift the pineal gland. Why are we on the earth? Why are we here? Doesn't anybody know? First, let's start off as how can we exist here? There's only one way to exist here on earth. So let's say God put us for the primary existence was love, to be able to communicate and exchange amongst each other without causing any hate. Because the minute one hates, nobody wants to live in the same village. I'll live out there where it's quieter and I don't have to take care of these people in the village. We don't talk enough, okay? This is one of my visions, okay? Once a month, okay? You put 30 questions up on the internet, and it's A, B, C, D, whichever way, or just A, B, C. And the government's going to be asking, well, what do you want to do? Is there anything special somebody wants to do? And we're going to have people looking at these things to take care of the people's needs. It's going to be us doing these jobs. We're not going to be making $80,000. You're going to have a government office. You're going to sit over there. You're going to make $38,000 a year. The only thing that's going to go along with it is our old age pension is going to be good in the future, not like it might not be good in the present. But you know what? I ain't got any old age pension. I'm going to be happy enough to reach an age where I'm a little bit older than I am right now. This thing went out. Can't call it a joint because it's not weed. It's not hash either. I ain't telling you what it is. But it gets you high. It really gets you high. You know what I did yesterday? I took an $80 piece of haze, okay, and I'm not quite sure if I put it in my cigarette pack or not, but it didn't really make a difference because I had a joint in there, so I wasn't throwing it out. And I also had one cigarette. Well, anyways, I got sidelined. I'm next to the fireplace, and I got sidelined. And I take the little cigarette out. I'm playing trying to start it. And as I'm playing trying to start it, I'm off balance because I'm right in the heat of the fireplace. So I throw the package in. And then I light my cigarette and I smoke and I forget about my package. 2 hours later, where's my package? I go, oh my God, I threw it in the fireplace. We all make mistakes. Ron Paul might make a mistake. But guess what? Ron Paul says, I'm going to ask the public what they want. So if there's a mistake, it's got to be the public's mistake, which means must be us. Do you understand which way he's going with this? He wants it. We don't need anybody to protect us. I don't need anybody. They caused more disasters. They killed at least 50,000 people. And never mind that, I'm going to tell you a story that I did in one of my old videos. Albert Einstein, okay? Me too. I can see the shimmering light out there, okay? Anything exists in the time of Albert Einstein. Yeah, part of it, some stuff is true, but you can't take everything for true. He goes from Germany to the U.S. and he tells the Americans they're starting to build the atomic bomb. He goes from the U.S. back over to Germany. It was all the Zionists. Hitler? Fuck that name. Fuck that name, Hitler. Screw that name. Okay? Because I did a numerology on Hitler, okay? And I've done numerology in a lot of these bad people, and I get the right numbers all the time. I'm not going to tell you what they are. Okay? No, I do know it. Don't worry about it, okay? And Hitler's name did not show up. Okay? HIT 289, the beta world of 17. 1 and 7 is the 8 heaven, 7 is the gate passage. Okay? 2 and 7 is the 9 birth. 2 and 8 is Venus and Neptune, or you can look at it the beta heaven. The reverse of that is 4-6. You see, don't forget, on a tic-tac-toe or on your telephone, okay, there are 8 directions, 360 degrees, 45-degree angles, and 8 directions. Each one of those directions, okay, is 45 degrees. Times 8 is 360. Now, what were we talking about? Oh, I got lost in my own thing. Yeah, 2, 8, and 2. So there's 8 directions in this world. So when you say beta heaven, 8 is because if you go on your telephone keypad, 1 to 9 is 1 direction, 4 to 6 is 2, 7 to 3 is 3, 8 to 2 is 4, 9 to 1 is 5, 6 to 4 is 6, 3 to 7 is 7, 2 to 8 is 8. I made a little mistake, but there's 8, okay? There's 8 directions. And all of them, the exterior numbers, all of them pass through the 5, the avatar 5, and the exterior numbers totaled is always 10. So that's why they call the beta heaven H. But it's the heaven with spirit, okay, inside of it. So this is the way it goes. What heaven has spirit in it? The Q. 1 and 7 equals 8. Now, why do you do it that way? Because it's 80. 8 is the first one, is the lower heaven, which is the heaven you want to be in, and then the upper heaven, the heaven you really don't want to be in, the one we're in. So it's X man and the X planet and the X everything. So it's 8 times X 10, because every direction is 10, and it means 80. Okay, so that's why we have the 80. So the 8th letter and the next 8th letter, okay, would be 8, and the next one is 17. The 2 digits together is 1 and 7, 8. We have to bring everything back to a single digit, always at the end. You can, let me tell you one thing. One of the smallest positions we can go is 5.125, and because it's divisible without a fraction. And how do we work that out? And don't forget, if we make things in a V and it gets smaller, this arm gets chewed up at the end, right? You understand what I'm saying? So there are certain directions that are going to be like closed. There's going to be no passages. Once that happened, you know what happens? That letter automatically turns into a Y, because that's the way it is. Anyways, I should have said that. I shouldn't have gone on to that. So now we have these 8 directions. And yes, you see this here? Okay, I did one on a bigger sheet of paper. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to try and get everything through. This is it. It's the letter R. Look, it's an R, one R, and then an upside down R, and then another R, and then another R this way, and another R this way, and another R this way. It creates all X's. This is your 40-40. Remember I'm saying in Monopoly how it works? 1 corner, 2 corner, 3 corner, 4 corner. That's your Monopoly board. Here we got free parking. Not only that, look, M. Now look over here, M. Look, M. M. Not only do you have to do it this way, now you should redesign inside. If you redesign inside, okay, don't forget they all make letters, okay? If I put a straight line here, you got the letter D, and in Roman numerals, that has a value. But we're not going to jump into that right now. Roman numeral M, 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 Roman numeral M. How many are there? 8 M's. 8,000. It would say 8,000 years because M is 1,000. So we don't have 8,000 years, do we? Does anybody figure out somewhere in 8,000 years? But don't forget, these corners are all cut corners. I'm going to explain to you what that means. I'm going to try and show you, if I can show you. There's just so many things. Cut corners, because what happens when they put this cube on top of this cube. They put two cubes on top of each other. The corners become nullified. They have no more value. Okay? They get, not only do they get nullified with no more value, is because it shows you that it has two times a divisible value. Two in one box. One side, two side. One side, two side. One side, two side. Okay? And at the same time, look what it does to this M. It turns it into a V with a line on top, which means 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 21,000, 22,000, 23,000, 24,000. And man, in here in the last 2,000 years, 26,000 years for the Mayan count. The other thing this is a stop sign. Take a look. If you go straight along the flat lines, this creates the octagon. Two squares on top of each other will cut corners and create that octagon. So this is a half value, or this is a double value, because there's one side and the other side. Don't look at this as an X. Look at it only on one side, as an arrow. You see the arrow? And then on this side, this arrow. Because what happens is there's a line that comes up from here and it shoots right down in between here, and then it spreads out this way. That's the Christ energy that passes right here from 2 to 8 heaven. That's why you don't have to count the 8 heaven, because it's 2. Once it goes through 2, it's going through 8. It's just an explanation.